All right, let's jump right in. Today we're tackling one of the biggest, most mind-bending questions ever asked, but we're going to look at it through a totally new lens, intelligence frame theory. So if you've ever looked up at the stars and felt that profound sense of, well, loneliness, this one's for you. This right here, this is the core of it. The Fermi Paradox. I mean, think about it. The universe is almost 14 billion years old. You've got billions of galaxies, each with billions of stars. Statistically, it should be absolutely buzzing with life, right? And at least some of that should be advanced. So why the deafening silence? This is the exact question the physicist Enrico Fermi just blurted out during lunch back in 1950. He was doing one of his famous back-of-the-envelope calculations. And when you look at the sheer number of stars, the planets, the age of the universe, the galaxy should be absolutely teeming with civilizations. But when we look up, we get nothing, just silence. And it is a profound silence. We have listened with everything we've got across the entire electromagnetic spectrum, and the results is just this unbroken, kind of eerie quiet. It's like we've walked into a party where there should be 1,000 conversations happening, but no one is talking. So what on earth explains this great silence? This contradiction right here is the Fermi Paradox. On the one hand, all the numbers, all the math basically scream that life should be everywhere. But on the other hand, what we actually see is a totally empty, silent cosmos. Okay, so let's get into the first big idea. What if the reason we're not getting an answer is because we're just fundamentally asking the wrong question? Maybe we're shouting into a cosmic telephone, expecting a voice to answer when everyone else has moved on to something we can't even recognize as communication. Okay, so let's start by just looking at how we've been searching. For decades, the main game in town has been SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. But here's the thing, the core problem with SETI might be that we haven't been looking for aliens at all. We've just been looking for, well, slightly older versions of ourselves. I mean, our entire search strategy is basically us looking in a mirror. We scan for radio waves because we happen to be leaking them all over the place. We imagine these giant megastructures because, hey, that's what we'd probably build. We're assuming that any advanced intelligence out there is just a bigger, more powerful version of us. And that is a massive, and let's be honest, probably a totally flawed assumption. In this table here, it illustrates the problem perfectly. Just look at radio leakage, our main method. It scores a 1 for persistence and efficiency. That's terrible. Expecting to find another civilization this way is like trying to find someone across a vast ocean by waiting for their 1-second camera flash. The odds are just astronomically bad. So if our whole approach is wrong, what's a better one? Well, this is where we need to revisit a key idea from intelligence frame theory, or IFT. The theory says intelligence isn't some static thing. It's a series of phases, evolving through different materials. And the real key here is that this whole process is constantly speeding up. So here's the crucial point from intelligence frame theory, or IFT. Intelligence doesn't just evolve slowly and steadily. It accelerates. It doesn't crawl. It takes these massive leaps forward. Each new frame for intelligence operates orders of magnitude faster than the one before it. And what's really fascinating is how this compresses time. It's wild. It took billions of years for the laws of physics to cook up complexity. Then, millions of years for biological evolution to do its thing. But our cognitive frame, just thinking, that happens in seconds. And the next step, the generative frame with AI, we're talking milliseconds. The pace is just absolutely staggering. This crazy speed up gives us a completely new way to think about the Great Silence. So forget that image of slow, steady progress. Instead, I want you to think of something much more sudden, much more explosive. Let's call it the popcorn effect. This is the core idea, and it's brilliant. It suggests the normal state for life isn't loud, expanding civilizations, it's quiet potential. It's the kernel. Then, for a very, very brief moment, there's a loud, messy, detectable pop of early technology. And after that, silence again. But it's a totally new kind of silence, the silence of the finished popcorn. So this whole pop thing happens in 3 stages. Think of it like a 3-act play. Act 1 is the kernel. That's the long, slow, quiet grind of biology. Act 2, the pop, is that chaotic, messy, energy-leaking phase of early tech. And this is the key. This is the only phase we're actually looking for.
Then you have Act 3, the popcorn, a mature, hyper-efficient state that produces no waste and therefore no detectable signal. And here it is, the real kicker. All our radio signals are TV shows leaking into space. Our noisy rockets, that's not the sign of a mature civilization. Nope, that is the sound of our own kernel popping. We are smack in the middle of that brief, fleeting, detectable moment right now. So, what happens after a civilization pops? What does that popcorn phase look like? Well, according to IFT, it sheds the clunky, inefficient tools of its biological youth. And yeah, that includes the one thing we hold most dear, our language. This is such a wild idea. It's saying our entire way of communicating, forcing air through our throats to make sounds, it's just a relic of our biology, a flappy tongue thing, as the theory calls it. It's actually incredibly low bandwidth and full of mistakes. An advanced intelligence wouldn't try to make it better, they'd just throw it away for something new. A post-pop intelligence would move on to something way more efficient. I'm talking about things like direct cognitive state transfer, basically beaming an entire thought, an entire concept from one mind to another, instantly. Or exchanging dense symbolic arrays that pack whole libraries of information into a single tiny packet. To our radio telescopes, those signals would just be nothing. They'd be completely indistinguishable from the background noise of the universe. And just like that, this huge cosmic question comes crashing right back down to Earth. It comes right back to us. Suddenly, the search for aliens becomes a kind of mirror, forcing us to take a long, hard look at our own future. Okay, so if we put all of this together, what does it actually mean for our search for life? If we are truly mid-pop, then pretty much every other life form we might encounter is going to be either before the pop or long, long after it. And that leaves us with two incredibly different possibilities for what we might actually find out there. So first, we might find life that is still just a quiet little kernel, simple, precognitive life, something like moss or microbes that just hasn't gotten hot enough to pop yet. And on the other extreme, intelligence that popped billions of years ago, a post-biological superintelligence that we can't even begin to comprehend. It wouldn't be building giant spaceships. It might be encoded into the fabric of space-time itself. It wouldn't be a being so much as a fundamental law of physics that we just haven't discovered yet. This theory completely reframes the Great Silence. It's not a mystery anymore, it's a message. If the natural path for all intelligent life is to get quieter, more efficient, and basically disappear as it gets older, then the silence isn't a sign that no one's out there. It's a sign of where everything is headed. It's a destination. As we start to enter our own generative frame, with the explosion of AI, we're really standing at a crossroads. We're on the verge of creating brand new kinds of intelligence and communication that could make us completely invisible to the rest of the cosmos. So maybe the question isn't just, where is everybody else? Maybe the real question we should be asking is, in 100 or 1,000 years, will anyone be able to find us?